So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome surviving son of South Carolina Highway Patrol, Lance Corporal James Haynes, to the stage. Mr. James Haynes.
All right, we can sit down, Man. Well, first off, I'll say I'm glad it's dim in here because I know it's a lot of people in here, so now that it's a little dark and I can't see everybody, I feel much better. But listen, it's an honor and pleasure to be here today. Of course, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who even wanted me to come up here and speak. I don't know why, but I got to give a shout out to Miss Diane Bernhardt and Miss Sarah Sloan. Y'all give a hand clap for them. So they were on me, they were adamant. So I said, listen, I'll come, I'll do what I need to do. So I'm happy to be up here. Secondly, I'm gonna make them stand up just because they don't like the attention on them, but I gotta shout out my two beautiful dates tonight. So listen, I got my mom over here, and I got my fiance, Taylor. Y'all stand up. So listen, excited to have them here. But listen, I know we're all here for the same reason, but I definitely want to give a huge shout out to all the donors. Man, we appreciate y'all. Y'all are considered the heartbeat for us. The survivors are the lifeline. So I just want to say we truly appreciate you from a donor perspective and continue to give to us because we're going to keep making this thing go even though it's for unfortunate events. So we appreciate y'all. All right, my intro's done, so now I can breathe a little bit. But, while I'm up here, I'll go ahead and talk about the day that kind of changed everything, and that was February 1st, 2008. My dad, Lance Corporal James Darrell Haynes II, ended up getting killed in the line of duty down in Orangeburg, South Carolina, while working for the South Carolina Highway Patrol. He was responding to a tractor-trailer accident. It was about 3 in the morning, and ended up losing control of his car, hydroplaning, and unfortunately hit a utility pole. So, man, that's the day everything changed. I know a lot of people get that cliche thing when something happens in your household to where it's like, oh, man, now you got to be the man of the house. I kind of took it with a chip on my shoulder. It's like, well, now I got to be the protector and the leader I know my dad would want me to be. So this whole thing I'm going to talk about is really just going to be about continuing his legacy and kind of giving y'all a glimpse into my life. I know we got a PowerPoint going. Shout out my guy, Blake Haynes. I know he's in there somewhere. Shout out my guy, Blake, for helping me put this together. So you'll see some pictures up there. So, yeah, we got the same last name. I know y'all looking like they probably cousins. That is my cousin. I know we're different colors, but that's my cousin. You don't find a lot of Hayneses everywhere, so we already adopted each other. That's my guy. But, man, let's kick the door in a little bit. So, honestly, man, I got 3 things every time I think about my dad, and that's being a selfless leader. He was always big on we over me, and that's something I carry with me every day. He was big on being a martyr human, which is paying the ultimate sacrifice, which a lot of us are in here for that reason because our officer did that. So I give my hat off to him every day for that. And lastly, but not least, being a world-class protector. Now I'm moving into the family aspect of my life to where, now I'm about to be a man of a household. So I'm extremely grateful to continue to walk in his shoes and build off of his legacy. And that kind of goes into my next point of just, capitalizing on being a family man. That's something he was adamant on, and really just showing up for your loved ones. I know all of us in here are going through something, but continuing to, stand on our 2 feet and show up for each other, that's all we really could ask for. He was big on that. Secondly, just surrounding myself with people who I know have the same goals and aspirations. So I got myself in a situation now to where, man, I get to work in the National Football League every day. I know a lot of people can't say that, so I kind of take that and kind of go and say, man, I've been able to kind of surround myself with good friends, good family, and I just value myself on friendship and being around family all the time. Without them, I'm not standing up here. And I give a huge shout out to them because, man, they keep me going every day. And with that being said, man, going back to my dad, man, I just kind of think about his relationship he had with his best friend growing up, who is my godfather. Man, they weren't related by blood, but, man, they go into school, they grew up thinking, man, we got each other, nothing else can stop us. And that's kind of the mentality that I took growing up, whether it was with my younger brother Chandler, who couldn't be here with us today, but I try to take that and I try to roll with it. That's why I got a huge group of friends who I look at as family, and they've been able to help me kind of stay on the course and keep going. So, man, I'm appreciative for them. Second, or the last thing I want to go into in terms of continuing this legacy, man, I want to talk about mentorship, and that'll kind of help me jump into the range of talking about how C.O.P.S has kind of helped me formulate my life. In terms of mentorship, man, before my dad became a trooper, he worked at DJJ, which is a juvenile, I want to say detention center / jail. And, man, he was huge on just giving back and pouring into the youth. And so he did that. He did a lot of community rec outreach stuff, going into schools, talking with kids, and making sure they stay along the right path. So I've heavily got into that and done a lot of mentorship things, outside of C.O.P.S. I've been able to work as a counselor at the YMCA, growing up in high school, the Boys and Girls Club, and of course, once I got my job at Clemson over the past few years, being able to be a football coach, camp counselor as well. So all those opportunities have been huge for me. And it's been awesome to kind of walk in his shoes in terms of mentorship and continue to push kids to go in the right direction. And so capitalizing on that, that's where I walk into the C.O.P.S life, man. So before I even talk about C.O.P.S, I got to give a huge shout out to 3 people who basically found us. That's the one thing I'll say about C.O.P.S. You never know what's going to happen. They find you. You don't find C.O.P.S. And so, man, I got to give a huge shout out to Miss Lois Rayos, Mr. Sal Rayos, and the late, great Miss Beverly Coates. So those 3 are the pillars, I'll say, of South Carolina C.O.P.S chapter. They came and found my mom, showed up at our doorstep and told us what C.O.P.S was really about. Ever since then, back in 2008, C.O.P.S has been a huge, huge, huge pillar of our life. And so, we came to Police Week in 2009, was able to do that. And then, of course, in 2010, the very next year, my mom finally was like, hey, they got this camp going on. I kind of want you and your brother to go see what it's about. Best thing that ever happened to me. I kid you not. And so for everybody in here, if you got kids, or if you're a spouse, or if you're a brother, a sister, or anybody, they got relentless and an unlimited amount of resources for you to use. So that's the number one thing I'll say about C.O.P.S, the unlimited resources. You can't be afraid to use your resources, man. C.O.P.S has been huge, and that's the reason why I'm standing up here today. I'm not afraid to talk about those guys because they've been an incredible help to me. I got a long list of names I can talk about. I know some are in here. Miss Angie McCown, she done snuck in here. I know she back here. Go ahead, hoot and holler. There she go right there. So Miss Angie McCown, she's been a huge help. She brought Miss Melissa with her. Those are my 2 mentors right there, the mentors. That's what they call themselves at camp, our counselors who kind of continue to help us walk through life. We get to break bread, talk about a lot of different things. I know Miss Erin Barnett is in here. She the sheriff around the parts around here. So I love her to death. You'll see some of the pictures up here. I know I got all of them in some pictures. And I got to give a shout out to my guy, Joe Hamer, who couldn't be here with us today, man. But, where is he at? Where? Over here. You know what? See, he didn't even tell me he was here. We're not going to talk. Don't do that right now. We're not going to talk about it. So, but listen, that's my guy right here. So, man, that was my first ever camp mentor. So when I got to kids camp in 2010, Joe Hamer, that's my guy, man. He texts me all the time, and we've been able to kind of create a connection that's unbearable and cannot be broken. So I love him to death. Joe, I'm glad you're here. You didn't tell me, but man, y'all, I got to give him a hand clap. He's here. He's been through the wire, man. Y'all just do me a favor, give him a hand clap for being here, man. I appreciate him so much, man. But listen, man, look, C.O.P.S has been huge for me. Of course, like I said, I did kids camp. I was able to do young adults. I was one of the first prima donnas of C.O.P.S. I won't lie to you, because my mom was like, hey, they got this outward bound thing now that you graduated from kids camp. I said, I will not be going. I will not be going. I said, you telling me I can't shower for a week? I'm out. But But it's huge. Like I said, I was a prima donna. I didn't care. I said, man, listen, I got to put some soap to my body. I need something else. So, man, but they went to work for me, though. They came back the next year and told me, they were like, hey, we just created a new hands-on program called Young Adults. I'm like, Young Adults, okay. I'm listening now. So, listen, I got a little city to me. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But Young Adults was awesome, man. That kind of helped me take that next step. And man, listen, between kids camp, Young Adults, and of course I'll touch on adult children, man, I've been able to find some lifelong friends who've been through the same thing. We're all going through different tragedies, but ultimately we're going through the same journey. So I'm so grateful to kind of share the stage and share my life with them. And man, it's been awesome having them in my corner. But of course, going through all of that, now I've kind of been able to shift into that mentorship piece at kids camp. Y'all have probably seen plenty of pictures and videos of me in a bunny suit, a Superman suit, but at the end of the day, it's for the kids. Man, my biggest thing about going back to kids camp is really just for the parents and the kids to see that I'm living proof of, man, everything's gonna be okay. So if I can show up at camp, whether I got a lot of stuff going on in my schedule, I'm always gonna be like, man, listen, at the end of the day, this is the best thing for my summer. You know, I hang out with my friends and family all the time, but it's like when I get to go to C.O.P.S camp, man, everything else is off the table. I'm here for everybody else, man. I'm here to uplift people and continue to do what I do every day. That's why I get up and go. But along with the mentorship with C.O.P.S, I've kind of been able to serve on some bigger opportunities along the way. Again, shout out Miss Diane, because she's been a huge pivotal piece in my life, helping me get on some of these things where I'm not even thinking about it. She'll text me, she'll email me, she'll be like, hey, we got this going on, I want you to come be a part of it. I'm like, hey, no questions asked, I'm there. So kind of been able to kind of sit in some national board meetings, hear what all goes on there. And then got to sit on the strategic planning committee a few years back, and that was awesome, kind of just laying out the overall vision of what C.O.P.S should look like in 5 years, what C.O.P.S should look like in 10 years. So it was awesome being a part of that. And then the latest thing I've been able to do, which was awesome, you know, I got to give another shout out to Brian Hollingsworth, our new executive director. I got to sit on that search board and bring Brian in, man. He had an incredible interview, so I'm happy to see him take over the reign and be the successor for Miss Diane. He's going to do awesome. So Brian, man, congrats. I know I haven't told you, man, but we're excited for you, okay? But, man, being on, yeah, y'all give a shout out for Brian, man. He's going to take over the helm. So, you know, as I wrap up here, I kind of just want to give the last few things and kind of give the glimpse into my life. You know, like I said, C.O.P.S has been a huge stamp for me. I'm excited for what's to come. You know, even though it's unfortunate events that lead us all here, man, they do a good job of taking care of us. All these things that are provided, just everything you can even think of, man, they're just an incredible resources for me and my family, and we're eternally grateful, but all those things that you heard about me not too long ago in terms of taking tragedy and kind of pouring back into other people, that's kind of helped mold who I am today. And so just the person I am today, man, I'm happy to say I got 2 degrees from Clemson University. I mean, I started off at, man, I appreciate it. Listen, I started off at Newberry College, a small Division II school in South Carolina, man, and one promise I made to my dad, you know, as I saw his casket going to the ground, I said, Dad, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I promise you one day, you know, I'm gonna be a big-time football player. I'll figure out a way, but we gonna do it. You know, that's the one sport he was able to teach me, football and baseball, and I took it and ran with it. Played baseball all the way up until high school and played football all the way through college. So was able to live out my lifelong dream of being a college football player and transitioning into Clemson, knowing I didn't want to play anymore, but I wanted to still be a coach. I wanted to somehow, you know, still be able to put a hand on people and guide them, you know, throughout their life through the game of football. So didn't go the coaching route, but was able to get a little recruiting analyst role, or a student worker role, I should say, you know, once I started grad school at Clemson, and probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. I don't know how many big football fans there are in here, but football has taken me further than I can even think of. I mean, I'm getting married next month, and I got one of my listen, like I said, I'm getting married next month, and listen, I grew up a Clemson fan my whole life, and now I got one of my childhood idols, Mr. C.J. Spiller. I don't know if any football fans are here, but he's a running back from Clemson, man. He's gonna be at my wedding. I'm like, man, that's one of my good mentors. So that's just funny how life takes you, you know, when you keep doing what you're doing. So, but man, had a good time at Clemson. You know, was a student worker for about 7 months, and then moving forward, you know, I got an assistant director role in the recruiting department, just to kind of, you know, be a dream merchant. That's my why. I got to live out my dream playing college football. Now I got the opportunity to, you know, connect with young adults in high school and kind of help them along their journey, whether they come to Clemson or not. So being able to be a recruiter at the highest level in college football was awesome for me. And then last year, ended up getting another opportunity of a lifetime with the Miami Dolphins. So now I'm working with the Dolphins now. So it's been a crazy whirlwind. So working in the scouting department there, got some good group of guys back there who, you know, let me take off work to come, you know, explain my story. And man, they're always in my corner. I appreciate them so much. But lastly, I'll talk about my adulthood transition. So, I mean, y'all, I've laid out everything for you in terms of the blueprint. Man, I just kept my head up and kept going. With my adulthood transition, like I said, I was able to meet my future wife, you know, while going through everything with work. And, man, she's been awesome. So I give a huge shout out to Taylor, man. I can't wait to change her last name to Haynes because it's going to be fun. So, but she's been awesome. You'll see some pictures up there of her, maybe the slideshow audio, but y'all see some pictures of her. If y'all see her walking around, don't get too close. That's mine. But outside of that, man, just want to continue my dad's legacy in that. I got to grow up seeing a loving mom and dad, and I know how it is to, you know, I've seen my mom go through losing her best friend, losing her life partner, and so I don't take a day for granted when it comes to Taylor, man. She's been a huge pivotal piece of my life, so happy to share this stage with her. This is her first C.O.P.S event, so she's kind of, well, it's her second, sorry, but she's been able to kind of see everything that's going on, and I mean, I brought her to Police Week, so now she's kind of getting to see everything from a holistic point of view, so happy to have her here, but wrapping up. All right, man, but wrapping up, listen, I'll leave you with a few nuggets. Man, continue to find your purpose. I know it's hard. I know you're going through some things, but one of the things that I always take with me is I got this from my head coach at Clemson, Coach Sweeney. We'd be in staff meetings, and people would be complaining, players would be showing out, and he'd look at everybody. He'd be like, hey, I want everybody in here to put your problems on the table. Put your problems on the table. And I guarantee you'll start seeing everybody else's problems, and you'll want to get yours and put it right back in your pocket. And so I kind of take that and I run with it just because I know I'm going through a lot, but I know everybody in here is going through the same thing. And the main thing I want to tell you is, man, just take your problems and turn them into a positive. You know, if you got kids, if you got anybody in your corner, just continue to be there for them and push them along. So, just continue to enjoy the small wins, do what you can do. And, man, listen, I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm eternally grateful for this whole organization. I appreciate you guys coming. You know, I know it's probably over 1,000 people in here, but as long as I can touch the heart of one person, my job's done. I just want to give a shining light to somebody, whether it's 1 or 100. I try to do what I can do. But, man, eternally grateful for you guys. I appreciate y'all having me up here, man, and God bless.
James, that was fantastic. You honor your father's legacy and memory, his service and his sacrifice with your strength and with your continued commitment and certainly with your courage and mentorship. Another big round of applause for James Haynes.